Aloha everybody, happy Sunday. You got Elle here. I hope this message finds all of you well and you all are enjoying this holiday season, staying safe in the pandemic and taking care of each other. Coming at you live today, you have Aniela. I am a coach with the Be With Your Twin Flame program. And today, folks, if you haven't yet already, go ahead and see the link I have below. We have a winter solstice special going on that is actually ending tomorrow at midnight on winter solstice, Monday, December 21st. So folks, if you haven't already looked into that and you're finding yourself on this journey, which is probably why you're watching all these videos or seeing those things come down the pike on your wall, if you're following Elle, or if you're even going onto YouTube to check those out, it is highly likely, folks, you are on a twin flame journey. So you're gonna want to pay attention. We have the process special right now going on at 40% off. This special comes once a year, winter solstice. It's the biggest one we have. And this is something, if you are really looking to better the hows and the ways you're running yourself through the day, which we all know on this journey can be very daunting on a daily basis because of what happens with your fear-based energy. If you are in that place where you're ready to take command and just to be at a better place, feeling better, you're going to want to pay attention to that link below. Because again, folks, once midnight on December 21st, the winter solstice, I'm getting all like, oh my God, it's tomorrow. Once that comes and it's gone, it's gone. So you're going to want to get in on that, especially to help yourself move forward on this journey, feel better, save some money on the incredible teachings that Elle offers. Pay attention to that link. So today we're talking, oh my gosh, I am so blown away at times from my students with the kind of questions they come at with me. It's absolutely brilliant. My student asked this of me, and I am just totally blown away. You know, it's something I really wanted to speak about. You know, so we are talking today, you know, in many ways, I'm sure you all have heard, this is the most sacred journey you will ever be on in your life, the twin flame journey. Everyone has a twin flame, although not everyone is on a twin flame journey. Once you have soul recognition, that's when literally it hits the fan. Everything goes berserk. Your fear-based energy goes berserk. Once you have soul recognition, it hits the fan. However, folks, this is really, many people will look at it as the hardest or most terrible thing that can happen to them because of how they feel. And that's normal, that's natural from the fear-based energy. But this, folks, is not, and I repeat, is not the worst thing to happen to you. If you already are on this journey and you're wondering why, this could be, folks, I'm telling you, it wasn't just for me, it wasn't just for my teacher Elle, for hundreds of our students, the greatest thing to ever happen to them. But if this is such a sacred journey, why have not the masters, you know, such as Jesus and Buddha, ever spoken about the twin flame? And it is a brilliant question, just brilliant. My student is just absolutely amazing to even ask this. And one of the reasons why it just snagged me so hard is that it comes from a place where I too was at on my journey. I had a very spiritual background. I was raised in the churches pretty much. And as I became an adult, I was very deeply into the Christian church. Now, when we're talking about, there's so many facets to this question, but basically, when we're talking about it being a spiritual journey, it is not in the sense that most people here walking this planet 3D, even very highly spiritual, very highly religious even, very highly in the church, it's not in that sense. This is a spiritual, very personal journey. You know, and when you're talking about a personal journey, You're talking about oneself. So my question from my student was, we have these masters, Jesus and Buddha. Why was there never any mention about the twin flame? And here it is, folks. Here's the deal. One of the things that I have learned in this time being on this earth is that there are so many things, especially that from the past, that we don't know. In a time before, when history was passed down, everything we read in the books, everything that was passed down from generation to generation, including my cultural background, I am a native Hawaiian, and that is how we told history, the stories passed down from generation to generation. Now, keep in mind, folks, in anything of that sort, in anything and everything, it will be based on personal interpretation, on personal experience, on personal judgment. There is evidence and there is proof that there is so much information that are left out of these historical texts that come from hundreds of years ago, sometimes thousands of years ago. They didn't even have paper. They didn't have pens or pencils. They had no real way of how we know today of recording history. So much of what was left in and what was left out of these ancient texts, including any of the written documentation, is just based really on a person's interpretation of it. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that for this person, that's what they recall. That's what they're putting down. Now, I can hear it already. Like I said, I was raised in the church. And this, just me speaking about this, is going to cause a whole lot of, blah, 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 blah. And it's okay. It's okay. I've learned to live with it all my life. And it's a way of people understanding that what we know today is limited information based on a person's account of history. That's what we know today. It doesn't mean it is right or it is wrong. There is a lot of incorrect information that we find out later. There's a lot of that. But it doesn't really mean that none of those things took place. It doesn't really mean that, what we see, what we read, what we hear today is the only truth. There is so much more, folks. There is so much more. All you have to do is take a look at your one day in the life of you, one day in the life of Aniela, and how much of that information, perhaps in today's day and age, makes it onto social media. Perhaps in today's day and age, even makes it to the evening time dinner table when you're discussing things with your family. How much of that? It is based on a person's interpretation of what was happening, even to the fact of what they can leave and leave in and remove. Also, over history, especially in the churches, especially from ancient times, there is a lot of information. There's a lot of chapters. There is a lot of books in varied religions that is not in what we see today. So folks, what I'm trying to say is the masters, Jesus, Buddha, if you were walking with them at the time, you have a very personal account of what was going on and what was happening. If not, then we only can look at the limited information that's provided to us today, that we have today. And it's okay. It's all right. Like I said, I myself, I was born and raised in the church. It is not until I found myself on this journey, the most sacred journey that I have ever been on. It wasn't until I found myself on this journey was I able to truly resonate and understand what Jesus was saying. I was born and I was brought up in the Christian church. I didn't get it. I did not. I was trying to apply everything with what I was reading and it just wasn't matching up. It just wasn't making sense to me. In this journey, I was able to really know and resonate with what he was trying to teach. So folks, it's all about presence. When we're looking at that, a lot of times when we're looking at historical text and we're looking at connection, that's your fear-based energy. That's your energy pushing out because it wants to know more. It wants to get more. It wants to understand everything from the mind. And this journey, folks, is not of the mind, it's of the soul. So anytime you start thinking like, that's your fear-based energy. It's looking to connect. It's looking to validate what you're walking through. And as I told my student, you know what you're walking through. You know what you're going through, what you've been through, and you're learning how to balance this energy. That's all it is, folks. Is this a real journey? Oh, it is very real. It is very real. Real as it comes. Can it even help folks in the church to even understand their journey? It did for me. It totally did for me. It brought me closer to God than I had ever experienced in my entire life. And for that, I am entirely grateful. I don't need to know the exact connections and the exact text that's going to refer back to this journey and say, Aniela, yep, you're right. I don't need that. I have it in here. I have it in my soul. Alrighty, folks, if you're resonating with anything I am talking about, and thank you, my dear, for asking this question. It just was absolutely mind-blowing. My pleasure to answer and my pleasure to share information to help you folks get to where you will feel better and be able to balance your energy on this journey. Pay attention to that link. You see it below. You're going to want to click on it, folks. Time is running out. Have a wonderful Sunday. God bless. We'll talk again later.